Hello everyone, thanks for stopping by and checking out this card. It is from my card class that we just did a few days ago in January. It is using the Sale-A-Bration stamp set Heartfelt Blooms. Let me pull that set in so you can see it. It is super cute and I absolutely love the flower detailing and design on this stamp set. It has three great, beautiful script sentiments on there. The Heartfelt Blooms is a stamp set that you can get for free with every $50 purchase before tax and shipping when you order from January 3rd through March 31st. So be sure, place an order so that you can get this stamp set for free. I also have another free gift that goes out for anyone who orders with me with the host code of the month. And you can find that on my blog, so definitely hop by over there so you can see what the gift is this month that you can get, as well as any free Sale-A-Bration gift of your choice. You might as well make it this one because it's awesome. Okay, so let me show you how I made this card. So I learned this cool technique while I was at Onstage in November. A demonstrator, Tina Rappe, I hope I'm saying your last name right, it looked like that's how you would say it. She showed us how to make what she calls missing middle, and this is why it's called that. Whoa, it's missing the middle. So she showed us how to make this, and I'm going to show you today. I'm going to set this over here. So you're going to start with a square piece of cardstock that measures 5.5 by 5.5. The reason you do that is because that's the standard width of a card that we usually make with Stampin' Up! Product. So after you've cut it at 5.5 by 5.5, you're then going to go ahead and slide over to 4.25 and score it. Once it's scored, then you're going to fold it over, and there you have the card base. It is now 5.5 by 4.25, and this extra 1.25 inch piece here becomes the front of your card. Now I'm going to emboss this after I make this nice and crisp here. So I'm going to get my Big Shot out and use the Garden Trellis embossing folder. I got a new light here and it's shining right there. Let me see how it affects things without it. Oh, not at all. We're not going to use it. So this is the Garden Trellis, and we're going to use it to add the texture to our base here. So there's a couple ways you can do it, and I'm going to show you the way that I did it to eliminate basically all of the gap that you can have along the edge here. So how we did this was, I have also a 5.5 by 1.25 inch strip that goes along the bottom. So I actually left my cardstock open, lined my fold up with the very end of the embossing on the embossing folder. So it was like that. And I had this other piece slipped in here too. And it doesn't have to be exactly perfectly lined up as far as making sure it matches where it ends here, as long as it's pretty much straight in here so that your design looks good. So let me even that up just a smidge. There, so we have it in the embossing folder. We're going to run it through the Big Shot. Back it back up. So generally when you use an embossing folder, you want to feed it through this way so that the fold goes through first. However, we can't really make that fit. So we're going to turn it on its side and very, very carefully run it through, making sure that it is completely lined up with the platform and the plates. If you're not confident in doing this, I'm going to show you another way that you can do it too. This is how I like to run mine. Whoop. There it goes. It's deciding it's kind of tired today and is going to think about it. There it goes, all the way through. All right, so now that it's done, it was perfectly embossed all the way to the very fold of our cardstock. Now, if you're not sure that you can do that and be careful running it through the Big Shot, I would suggest folding this underneath so that just the front is on there, folding it over and running it through the Big Shot this way like you're supposed to. It does leave a little bit of a gap along the very, very edge, but you can't even really tell that it's there. Let me show you. I had it in a clear envelope at my class so that we could, stamp without messing it up. So this is whenever I folded it over the edge of the embossing folder. Barely, barely, just a little bit left there. Versus whenever I left it open and made sure that the fold was on the very edge of the design of the embossing folder. So there's not much difference. Whoever received this card is going to love it just as much as if they'd received this card. So, like I said, it doesn't make a whole lot of difference. You can choose which way works best for you to run it through your big shot. Okay, so now I'm going to take this out and move all of this out of the way. So now that that is done, I'm going to set it aside for just a minute and I'm going to stamp. So I have a piece of vanilla cardstock. It is 2.5 by, I think 2 3/4 by 3.5. I can't remember exactly. Let me get a little bit of grid paper here to measure it. So yes, 3.5 by 2 3/4. And it's going to be matted on a piece of chocolate chip just slightly bigger. So then this one is 3 3/4. 3 3/4 by 3. Okay, so I have my stamp here mounted on my clear block. It also comes in wood, so if you're more of a wood type stamper, you can get it that way too. But you see how flat that looks? People are shocked that this gorgeous detail comes out of this very flat looking stamp. A little tip, put the ink on it with the rubber side facing up and just kind of press it on there so you get even coverage. I like how it looked when my ink pad wasn't super, super juicy. It seemed to work a little better when it was somewhat a little dry. Not like actually dry, but kind of seemed it a little. So you're just going to press it on there. And there it is. Isn't that gorgeous? Look at all the texture and detail just right there from one stamp. It looks like you just photocopied a bouquet of flowers, but in sweet sugar plum. All right, close that back up. And we have this here, so now we're going to put it on our chocolate chip. Use a little bit of adhesive here. Looks like, there it goes. My snail was being stubborn and didn't want to go on. Mat that up right there on our chocolate chip. And that's what we have right here. So now we have our card front and the bottom piece of our card front. And you're just going to kind of put those together. Now I have some Post-it notes that I've torn in half, and I actually like to hold it down here and use it to hold here. It kind of keeps it down so that I can kind of be more hands-free whenever I'm doing this, unless it pops off. So now we have this. I'm going to use my fast fuse now because I want it to really hold, and only put adhesive along the very top. Let me set it back up here. There we go. The very, very top of my cardstock and the very bottom. You could also do this with dimensionals. I just wanted it to be flat. All right, so this is sitting here. I'm going to try to leave an even amount around the top, bottom, and this left side so that it looks balanced. And with our Post-it notes out of the way, we can see that it is holding. We have a missing middle. Check it out. You are so cool. We're going to use our Post-it notes again, and we're going to put this piece of vanilla on the inside. It is 4 by 5 1/4, so it leaves a little bit of that sweet sugar plum edge around it. And I'm going to put it on just the very sides here and here. Now I'm doing that because I'm going to be stamping on this piece, but if my stamping is crooked, I want to be able to flip this piece over and try it again. So I'm using the Thinking of You from the stamp set and some chocolate chip ink. So now I'm going to stamp in this open space right here using my Thinking of You and my chocolate chip. All right, let's see how we can do here. Looks pretty good. Ta-da! There it is. Now that that's done, I'm going to open this up. flip it over and use a bit of adhesive just to set it in there to make sure it doesn't come out, and you can write whatever you want on that space behind your balloon there. There it is. Now you could leave it just as it is. It is gorgeous all on its own. I wanted to add some pearls, so I'm going to use my paper piercer here to pick up a large pearl. Put your finger on it so you don't flick it up into your eye. Put it right there in the center. And this time I have my flowers up in the upper corner instead of the lower corner, which is cool because now you'll be able to see which way you want to stick your flowers on there. And there's for that one. And there's the last little one here. There. And oops, fell off. There we go. All right. So there it is. Completed quick card. People might look at this and go, how did you do that? That looks so crazy. But you know, it was easy. So here it is with the flowers up in the top, the leaves on the bottom, and leaves on top and flowers on the bottom. So you can decide which one you like better. Thank you so much for stopping by today. Be sure to go over to my blog so that you can see the free gift that you can get on top of the celebration free gift this month with the appropriate host code. And just go over there and see what more you can find, what other projects you want to make with your celebration items. Share this video if you enjoyed it and want other people to see how cool and easy this technique is. Again, thanks for stopping by, and I hope you have some happy stamping. Bye!